Doug Mazeski.
Well, Doug, tonight we have Dee Walker on the show. Fascinating person, involved in academics, fled a civil war in Liberia. Has a lot to talk about, lots of stories that I've been really looking forward to hearing tonight.
I'm looking forward to it too.
So it is our pleasure to have, I guess I'd call him an academic, as well as humanitarian, Dee Walker.
Welcome to the third chair. We have Peter back as my co-host, and our special guest star today is Dee Walker. Welcome, Dee.
Thank you so much.
We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Run the applause, can meter.
Now, you were born in the United States. Tell us where you come from.
Actually, I came into the United States in 2001. I was born in Liberia. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm originally from Liberia.
Is that Western Africa?
Yes, it's in the west coast of Africa. I always say the other side of the Atlantic Ocean.
Ah, okay.
So it's just a hop for us.
Yeah. Well, hop.
You got to hop across the ocean.
Yeah.
A short swim.
No, I don't know about that. Of course, I'm not a good swimmer. But...
Oh, me too. No. I mean, I grew up by the sea, but unfortunately, I can't swim that well.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
So did you take lessons as a kid, or did they just throw you in the ocean? Or
No. I mean, as boys, we just ran around, jump in the ocean, see how we can just sink with the waves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds good. So tell us about your family growing up.
Well, I was the fifth child of 9 siblings.
Oh, so you were really in the middle of a lot of kids.
Yes. My 4 sisters were older than me, and then I was the first guy, and after that, another guy, and then 2 girls and another guy.
Wow.
So I was really stuck in the middle.
Yeah, and then the girls outnumbered you.
Yes, they did. I mean, six girls and 3 boys.
Yeah, especially since they were oldest too.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. I can't imagine the battle for the washroom in the morning. Especially if people want to put on makeup, it would have been terrible.
Well, I'm telling you what, it was. I say this to my kids. They are really fortunate because we grew up, me and my 8 siblings, we grew up in a 2-bedroom house.
Oh, wow.
With no indoor plumbing. So everything was outside.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So my sisters slept in one room, my parents slept in another, and me and my brother slept in the living room.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably... I was going to say you probably could sneak the TV on, but did you have a TV?
Not until later in life when I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
But we usually went to the neighbor's house. Usually a neighbor who was well-to-do had a TV, and growing up it was black and white.
Uh-huh.
So we would go there, and then later on, multicolor TV came on. But in our home. No, we didn't have a TV.
Yeah, I remember I was 12 and we got a color TV and I was like, "Oh, this is the life."
It was that different.
Yeah, boy. So do you eat a lot of fish growing up then?
Well, interesting. My father was a fisherman who became a sailor.
Okay.
So yes. We ate a lot of fish.
So much
like
fish?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know more fish.
So living in Colorado doesn't bother you.
No.
No ocean nearby.
Yeah. The only thing about living in Colorado, I'm not a mountain guy. I'm a athletic guy, but I'm not used to mountains. I'm used to the flat ground, and then going to the ocean. Going to the beach. So we have a lot of beaches there, and so Colorado is cool. That's the beauty of the mountains and stuff. And,
beautiful.
But I came here first from Illinois because we left Liberia 2001, and came into the United States. I came as a student with my family fleeing a senseless, bloody civil war in Liberia.
Tell us about, because you told us this story yesterday, you got accepted to be a student in the U.S., and then you said you wouldn't come unless...
Yes, unless well, here is the story. I got a scholarship. I was admitted to Trinity International University, which is in Deerfield, Illinois. And at that point, because of the Civil War, they were not granting folks visas just like that. But when the lady, the counselor behind the window said, "Oh, we can only give you a loan visa," I just said, "Nope. If you cannot give my family, just my wife and my 3 kids, along with the visas, I would not go to the United States because I would not be able to concentrate on my studies. The trauma that I've gone through, I do not want to leave them in that kind of a traumatic situation."
And how old were your kids then?
They were 3, 4, and 8.
So they were pretty young.
Pretty young.
Especially, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Two of them still toddler age.
Yeah, pretty young.
You know, that's surprising. Did they, because usually when there's war and things like that, that's when the United Nations pushes, you know, you can flee as a refugee if you're at all being persecuted in a civil war. Were you in any way singled out? Or?
Well, I because I was doing broadcasting, and I was a radio broadcaster. Here is what happens. Anytime the rebels made a move or they declare victory in a particular area, one of the establishments or the institutions that they try to capture is a broadcast station. Because they want to be able to propagate their propaganda, you know. So because of that, I was targeted because I was a broadcast journalist.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh, man. That...
So how did you convince them? Because you said a little earlier you got your family here. How did you do that?
Well, there were several. Again, the events. There were times when they were lull in the activities of the rebels. So during those, because what happened is that during the bloody civil war, the West African countries realized that if they did not, because it had already spilled over to neighboring Sierra Leone, and the West African states realized if they didn't do something, this stuff was going to creep like a cancer into the rest of the West African sub-region, and it was going to be like a cancer eating of all of the stability. So what they did, we have what we call the ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States. So they had their high-level meetings and they put together a peacekeeping force. So the peacekeepers came and separated the rebels from the government forces so that civilians can be able to have a passage, and not only that, but so there can be some relative peace. So during those relative peaceful times, you know, I was able to make contacts with some of the folks, missionaries that we knew. So I was granted scholarship by a missions organization that was in Liberia. It's called SIM. They ran a hospital, a radio station, and a school. So I worked with the radio station and the church. So they granted me scholarship, and I was on my way to England. The scholarship was for England, but then we fled to neighboring Sierra Leone and were denied visas to go to England. So I called the missionaries from Sierra Leone and they said, "Look, the scholarship is for you. If you can find school anywhere that will accept you, then we are cool." So what happened was that even though I had applied to this school in England, I'd also applied to another school in Nairobi. So when the England school issue fell through because of the visa issue, I called them and said, "Yes, just do whatever you can." So we ended up in Nairobi, where I did my master's.
Okay.
Yeah, in 2 years. Yeah.
And then when we come back from this break, can you explain how you got your whole family in the United States and the story behind it?
Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll do that. Thank you.
this is interesting.
Yes, very
Politics,
interesting.
just getting into the countries.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
and we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
And when this segment's over, we have to fly you right back up.
Welcome back to the third chair, and Dee's going to tell us how he got his family in the United States when at first they said that they couldn't bring him.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thanks again for inviting me to this platform, this forum.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah. I
Wait till you get our bill.
coming to the States was all orchestrated by Almighty God. You know, I mean, because in the first place, I could not afford doing a PhD in the United States. It was astronomically expensive.
It still is.
But when I applied to all of these schools, I applied to 6 schools, 6 universities, and I was accepted into 5 of them, but only one of them gave me a very good deal in terms of scholarship, you know. So they gave me the scholarship, and I realized, wow. And this was all orchestrated by God, of course, and by some of my former professors who went to school, who did their doctorate in the United States and went back to Liberia, to Kenya to teach. And I was a student of one or two of these professors. And so they recommended this school, you know. So, it was Trinity International University. So once I got my acceptance, the next thing was the I-20 form. So they sent the I-20, you use the I-20 to apply for your visa at the consulate in Liberia. So I did all of that and everything was cool, went for the interview, and that's when they said they could only give me a loan of visa. And I said, no, I can't do that. But long story short, during the period of peace in Liberia, I was working with the Liberia Baptist Theological Seminary, and I was the academic dean. So I traveled with the president to the United States on 2 occasions. And one of those occasions, I told my story and my desire and plan to come to the States for school. So at this church in North Carolina, after I had spoken, an older guy came up to me and said, how much money do you need? I said, I need about $9,000. He said, consider it done. And just at that time, a foundation called International Scholars Foundation had also given me a grant, you know. So I only needed that $5,000. Yeah. And Trinity gave me a scholarship as a program scholar in the education department. So everything was fine. And how do we raise the money for each of these kids and me and my wife to come to the States? So we got the visas and no money for flight. My wife's older brother lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So we talked with him and he said, well, I can help with 2 of the kids, but you guys will have to pay me back. So he gave us a loan, you know, and we were able to raise some money, and that's how we came to the United States. in northern Illinois. We lived in a city in a village, Libertyville, in Illinois. Yeah. So, interestingly, during that time, my kids all, the foundation that supported us found a house for us, a 3-bedroom house with 2 baths, a very nice place in Libertyville. And my kids started going to school not too far from the house. So that's how I came to the States, and of course, I was doing my studies.
Wow.
So you're father of 3 kids.
Yeah.
How hard is it to be a father of 3 kids?
I told you I grew up in a family of 11. My father, my mom, and my siblings. So it's just a responsibility now to be a dad, But it was exciting. The kids were well-mannered, respectful. They would do anything, the normal kid would do, But they were fun. It was fun to raise them.
I know you have a daughter, right, or 2?
Yes. I have one daughter.
Does she ever give you like the puppy dog eyes?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Daddy, you're the best daddy in the whole world. Will you buy me a donut? Will you buy me a Barbie laptop? Do you ever get that?
Well, Denise and I we have a very good relationship. I remember when she was little. Because she was 8, and she would hold my hand. She would put her feet on my feet, and and we'll do the forward walk, the back walk. Now she's old, I can't even. Yeah, she did all of that. But she was special.
Yeah, girls that way.
Yeah, girls are that way. I have 3 daughters, man. I'm pathetic. Wow. They just own me.
Peter has sucker printed on his forehead permanently.
Man, just take my wallet, girls. Here, let me give you the password to my account. Just go ahead. Just transfer the money.
Here is the debit card pin.
Yeah, exactly. But here are the keys to the car.
Yeah, that was when they're 8. He gave them the keys to the car.
I know,
right? Daddy, will you buy me a horse? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy you a horse. Gotta be tough sometime.
So what was the hardest part about being a father?
It was telling them something that I believe in as a value and going against my values.
Oh, yeah.
Not demonstrating it?
Yes, not living it out.
Not living it out. Yes. Oh, some people might use the word hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy. Not walking my talk.
Not walking the talk. Oh man, that's a biggie for all of us.
That was tough.
Yeah, kids always catch that.
And they do.
And they write it down and the date and the time. It's like not only do they catch it, it's like, Dad, 3 weeks ago at 2:00.
Yes. Every minute detail.
Yeah, they can't remember to do their homework, but they can sure remember that.
Yeah. So that was the
my daughter used to go tell my mom on me, and then so she thought Mom rude, and then she got mad at my wife once, and she called her grandmother. We didn't even know she knew the number, and she called her. Mom's doing this.
Children can be very resourceful.
Yeah, but see, my wife made it easier for me to be a father. Why do I say that? Because kids know how to play parents.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They know how to play parents against each other, and she would usually when they know they can't get something from me, they'll go to her. And she would say, "Let me talk to your dad." Let me talk to your dad. So she made it easy because some moms would not consider that. They would just go ahead and do it. And it's not that they do it out of malice. Or they just did it because they just felt that's what a mom should do.
Or sometimes it takes a lot of energy to sort all the issues out.
Yes,
And last night you're telling us about the 3 A's that are very important.
Yeah.
Kids. What are the 3 A's?
Well, my background, like I said, has been in education and corporate training. And one of the things I've always done with organizations is helping them develop their core values. I did some consulting for 1 or 2 groups here and then in Liberia, develop core values. And then one day it just dawned on me that I'm helping these groups to develop core values. Why can't I do the same for my family? So we developed our core values, the 3 A's. Almighty God, academics, and athletics. So those 3 A's. Why Almighty God? Because everything that we are, is because of God. Academics, we give them some incentives, for performing, A and B. Anything below B was, and then
there will be nothing below B.
So
you don't want to see it.
So that has been embedded in them, and I'm so excited that they caught it.
Nice.
And I've been able to help other families to develop their own core values.
That's very good. And then we'll talk about athletics, the 3rd A, when we come back.
Okay.
And we're not talking the Oakland Athletics, which would be baseball, and that would be one of the B's.
B's are acceptable with no C's.
Doug, most of our viewers and followers know that our new episodes come out on YouTube on Thursday nights.
Right.
But we have a new announcement about the 3rd chair.
Exciting announcement.
Starting with the older episodes, they're now going to be on a TV channel.
Yes, very exciting.
So the TV channel is with the Pikes Peak Library District, Comcast Channel 17 here in Colorado Springs. And I believe the episodes are going to play at 7 o'clock at night, but they may cycle them, and who knows, maybe they'll be on at 2 or 3 in the morning. So if you're in Colorado Springs and you have Comcast and access to Channel 17, you're able to watch the 3rd chair. The episodes are edited a little bit shorter. Some of the commercials are taken out on TV.
It should be exciting.
Yeah, I can finally tell my friends I'm really on TV.
We could tell them we're TV stars.
That's right.
Yeah. Welcome back to the 3rd chair, where we're discussing how I do the clapper.
Yeah, he is.
He does it very loudly.
Yeah.
He's supposed to do it.
The producer.
Yeah, it's when people's fingers get caught in there. Yeah.
And so far, I only caught my fingers like 2 times in 60 episodes.
I know, we've only had to go to the emergency department once.
Wow. Are you guys serious or are you just joking?
We're joking. That was another true story.
Serious is not really required out of these two. It
I
doesn't happen often.
think I'll figure that out,
So you told us your son, he was the team captain for the
Yes.
football
Oregon soccer
soccer team.
Yeah.
At Oregon State.
He was at Vista Reach, where he had some records, and then he also captained Vista Reach soccer team. And of course, at Oregon State University, where he was recruited to, he became the president of the Student Athlete Association.
Oh.
When I saw the news story on the website, I just thought he was president of the soccer team.
Oh.
But then I realized he was president of the student athlete. So all of the sports.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
he
a
was
pretty
the
good
president.
honor. Wow, that's pretty good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. He's an athlete.
And so all 3 of your children are pretty good athletes.
Well, yes,
He's kind of exceptional.
Yeah. Do you still like jog, or do you ever go to a soccer field and kick the ball?
Oh yes. I mean, once in a while I would do that, but I've not done that for a while. But now my exercises are stretches and walks.
Walks.
Because I injured my back playing soccer in Nairobi.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, my lower back, my discs and stuff, and then
Oh, that's not good.
my left knee, I was playing. So It's catching up with me. I'm getting there.
Oh, no, do you at least have a...
So you track how many steps you take when you walk, or how many miles?
Yes, I do 6,000 to 8,000 steps.
Oh, okay.
6,000 to 8,000 steps.
Yes.
That's good. Do you walk a dog? Do you have like a small animal?
No. I walk myself, and the Spirit of God walks me.
Oh, that's very good.
Well,
That's
that works.
That's very. That certainly helps with the conversation.
Yeah.
So you've been married a long time, haven't you?
Yes. Comes October 3rd this year will be 30 years.
30 years.
30.
Yeah, I've got 35 or 36. I'd have to do the math.
I have. This will be my 26th, and you're 11 years ahead of me, so you'll be
37?
37.
Yeah, Peter, you might want to do the math pretty quickly, and if Rhonda watches this episode,
Yeah,
Hey, you got it down, Rhonda. Don't worry.
yeah, I got it. I got it all covered. Yeah, I know.
But see, it's not a big number, so you're kind of in between.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
why
that I'm
it's
getting
foggy.
older, so I can say, my memory's going.
Blame it on the memory.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, maybe your wife would think this is selective amnesia.
It's amazing in that you have to be very careful what you can show your wife that you can do well. For instance, if you're home and she says, "Can you help? Can you clean the kitchen, cook a meal, vacuum, take out the garbage?" and you do it all and you get it done in a couple hours, you've actually just set the standard. It's like, oh, I didn't know you were that good. You can do that every time now. Yeah, so there has to be a small amount of incompetence always.
I have an advantage, Peter.
What?
No matter how hard I try, I don't do it well. So
So that's your standard?
Yeah, my standard's very low.
Yeah, my wife.
but Doug, we need to note this episode and this segment and tell Rhonda to watch this.
I mean, I put the spoons in the wrong place, and I've done it for 37 years. I mean, the question is, do you really think I can't remember where the spoons go? It's like, I'm not sure.
But why do you do that? Because it's straightforward. Where the spoon, the fork, and stuff, all of them go.
Well, there's different size spoons.
Yes, I know.
Sometimes there's 3 or 4 different size spoons, but there's only 2 places to put 3 different size spoons.
Yeah.
So then what do? Do you mix your spoons?
My wife tells me to get the glasses, and I go to the wrong counter because I'm thinking about baseball, not about getting the glasses. So. Yeah. Glasses are second priority. But this thinks I don't know where anything is in the house. I eventually find the glasses.
Yeah. What I really hate is putting the big bowls away in the right place. Because I got all these different size cooking bowls, and there's 2 or 3 places they can go. Why can't I just stack them all up and put them there? Why does the silver bowls have to go there and the porcelain bowls over here?
I'm beginning to wonder if it's a guy's thing. Because I called my wife today just to ask her about certain things in the kitchen, where to find them. And she was just laughing at me.
Yes.
And this is not the first time. I've almost always done that when she travels.
But what did your wife say to you? You mentioned that last night when you first got married and you went to the house. She said about the kitchen, it was her...
Oh, yes.
Her domain,
yeah. Before we got married, my brother and I lived together, and we would dabble. Not cooking, we would dabble.
Yeah.
But as guys, we would eat anything,
Yes.
And she and her sister would come and visit on Sundays after church. So we make sure that we prepare the meals, to the best of our abilities. And whether the meal was good or not, they always complimented us. Oh, guys, that's cool. That's nice. That when we got married, in hindsight, I think it's because we did such a lousy job. So in hindsight, she just said, "This is my kitchen. Get out."
See, that's why you don't know where anything is.
Exactly.
There we go.
Well, and sometimes they assume that we're going to do certain things. I remember after we got married, Rhonda and I, she would say, "Do the dishes," and so I would do the dishes. But to me, doing the dishes didn't mean you wipe the counters, or the crumbs, or you change the trash.
Do
the dishes. Yeah, you asked me to do the dishes. Yeah. I did the dishes, but you're unhappy with me. And so. There's all these written rules that aren't written.
Well, it's different from each lady because I put the dishes in Like my mother taught me, and Leslie didn't like it in the dishwasher, so she said, "No, it's like this." I don't have to load the dishwasher that
Yeah,
much.
one of the things I could not understand because I never used dishwashers in Liberia when we came to the States, and my wife had been given some tutoring on how to use the dishwasher, and it didn't make sense to me. You waste the water to rinse the dishes before you put them in the dishwasher.
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh. I mean, for me, in my little African Liberian mind, I'm saying, why not just wash them here and dry them off somewhere,
That's what I do when our dishwasher doesn't work.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or sometimes I let the dog...
Some dishes we don't wash, and some dishes we wash, like the dog dishes we wash, without the dishwasher.
And the thing is I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but sometimes like these kinds of rules with your wife change. And you don't know. It was like, this week you were supposed to be in here helping in the kitchen, but now, like, I'm cooking for a big party, you do not come in. It's like, I didn't get the memo, so.
Well, one thing I know...
it's hard to be a guy.
One thing that is... that statement is... there is a finality about guys.
Yeah.
That statement...
Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the guys are like Africa or U.S.
Yeah. But one thing I know when it comes to collecting the trash in the house, that's my job.
Oh, mine too, and I hate it.
I don't mind that.
Me too. I don't enjoy it.
Well, I've got 7 people and a dog, and the amount of trash that they can create between morning and night is outstanding. I just can't believe
Outrageous.
it. Outrageous. Phenomenal. They have mastered the art of unwrapping things and putting them...
Of garbaging.
Of garbaging.
So the dog has that... is probably the messiest one, right?
Well, the dog does her business outside, but who has to go out there and pick it up?
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's more work.
Yeah. Just remember, if you get a
This
dog.
is why Dee walks with God and not a dog.
G-O-D-D-O-G.
Yeah, it's a good thing you don't have dyslexia.
Exactly. After 60 shows, the producer finally got a good line.
Our producer's very helpful.
So Dee, when we come back, I'm going to ask you, what's the hardest thing about being a good husband?
Okay.
Real people, real stories, real life. We're looking for guests. We're looking for you here on the Third Chair. I'm Peter, that's Doug, and how many different ways can we have guests?
Oh, at least 3. We can have them here in the studio in Colorado Springs. We've had guests all the way from LA on Zoom, and we have gone on location, and we got our 3rd one already in the planning phase.
Awesome. Send us an email and we'll get you on the show.
Welcome back to the Third Chair. Peter's happy because he had a chocolate. Dee's happy because
he's halfway done.
He's like, what time do we leave?
I know, right?
He's doing a great job as a guest, too.
Yeah, it's a fun guest. We truly enjoyed it. So, have you thought, what's the hardest part about being a husband?
Wow.
For you, obviously, or you can say for all mankind.
It probably will be.
I mean, the fact that we are all wired, we are both wired differently, trying to understand, for me, is when my wife cannot understand me, I get frustrated, because, but then, the older I get, the more I realize, okay, we are really different, but we'll complement each other. So the most difficult thing of being a husband is to persistently love my wife, consistently appreciate her, and let her know that I love her. Not just by actions, but by verbalizing it. Yes. And usually men don't want to say that. Say, well, I bought you that. That demonstrates that I love you. I did this, that. No. They want to hear it. You know.
Yeah, and that's true. And that, it's kind of like, it's been like the last 4 or 5 years I've been
Verbalizing.
working on, being better about that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like, I told you I loved you when I married you,
Yeah.
and if I change my mind, I'll let you know. And no.
No, that doesn't work.
No, it does not work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistency.
So, consistency.
Yes.
Yeah.
What you use is a reaffirmation.
Yes.
Reaffirmation.
Yes,
Do you like write little love notes or little cards?
Here's the interesting thing. Even I used to enjoy writing short poems.
Yeah.
Even at our wedding, I wrote a poem.
Oh, that's
You know,
Wow.
and I read it to her.
Wow.
You know, I think she still get it. She has it over our bed, at the top of her bed. You know,
Oh, wow.
it's still there. 30 years later. You know, I stopped. Yes, I stopped writing. You know, yes, that has been hard in terms of writing and living something. You know, I will do it sporadically.
Yeah.
I'll do it once in a while, but I think it needs to be done more.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought it was
I've
gonna.
written my wife a few poems, and I'm actually doing it more because instead of getting her a card, what's kind of after you do the cards, after a while they start to say the same thing.
Yeah.
So so sometimes I come up with a poem or like an idea.
Yeah.
And,
I've tried a new idea. I don't know how it's going to work. I've hired a virtual assistant from the Philippines to like send little notes to my wife. We'll see how this goes.
No.
okay.
Your wife
Okay,
needs to hear
guys
this.
out there, they do not always follow Peter's advice about romancing your wife after 37 years of marriage.
No, he would say that all don't follow Peter's advice.
Yeah, well, one of the things I do though, myself, I started realizing that cards, you buy them from Mardell or wherever, they become mundane. So the question I ask myself, if someone can write, if someone can scribe such a message for a group of people, why can't I write something specific for my wife?
Yeah, that's
You know?
right.
Yeah. So like Mother's Day, I took one of the pictures I did my own card in my computer and stuff like that, and I wrote on my own stuff, and then I put it in a frame. She had gone to work, when she came that morning, it was right there. When she opens the door, she saw it.
Nice. Nice.
Hey,
Yeah.
See, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good
this
idea.
Mother's Day, I wrote the poem because we have 2 dogs and 2 cats. So I wrote the poem from the 2 dogs and 2 cats for Mother's Day, and then I got flowers, and of course they got all the credit.
Yeah. I got flowers too. Now, our youngest son, my wife doesn't like me to say my. We use the pronoun our.
Our, yes.
Our youngest son came with his wife. The wife did a card. My son, our son, the younger one, who's going to Oregon, he just got a job with Nike. He follows my footsteps. He scribed something to his mom. Now the older guy, our older son, he plays guitar, and he composed a short song for mom on Mother's Day. Recorded it. He got his small studio. He got his bachelor's from Colorado State in computer information systems, and he plays the guitar. So he did that, recorded it, and sent it to his mom.
Oh, nice. Now, I will give one serious piece of advice, and that is, one year I totally forgot about my wife's birthday. I was working long, hard hours. No excuse.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. It was, and then I bought a cheesy card from 7-Eleven, so it got me in trouble. So
that's the best place to get by a
No, but what I learned
card.
from that is, you do all these things that you guys are talking about, but you put them out the day before the holiday, because then they also know that you've thought about it. It's at home, it's out, it's there waiting for them, and that's just like a little extra whipped cream on the ice cream. Yeah.
Advice from Peter.
Yeah,
That's good advice.
I give good advice about once every 52 shows.
We'll see you next year for Peter's next piece of advice.
So you give good advice as many times as the producer has a good line.
Yes, yes, exactly. And he's pretty amazing. Yeah. For a man with a beard and no hair. That you can't
Which
see.
is not easy to do.
Oh yeah. Speaking of no hair, yeah, who am I to say? So are we talking about education now?
Yes, education.
All right. So I know education's important to you.
Very much.
Talking a pre-production meeting, academia, academics. Your Bachelor of Science. Where did you do that, and what did you do it in?
Well, I got a Bachelor's of Arts.
Okay, of arts. Sorry,
A BA
a BA.
in Biblical Studies
Yes.
major and a minor in Broadcast Journalism in Liberia from African Bible College University.
That is so fascinating. I mean, were you thinking like how are you going to use two together? You know, like,
Yeah.
You're like, welcome. This is Dee Walker. Welcome to our show. We're going to be talking about 1 Corinthians 13. You know, did you think about like having a radio show like that?
Yeah.
Something.
In fact, I have a radio name.
Well, oh, you had like a DJ name?
Yes.
What was it?
Let me just say this. It's a pleasant good evening, and you're listening to FM 94.5. This program is Saturday Special. Your host is Dynamite D.
Dynamite D.
Remember, when D is on your dial, it's dynamite. So don't dare touch that dial.
Oh, that's great.
great.
Oh,
That was
man.
fun.
Did you ever like talk like that when you were doing the news as well?
Oh, no.
Dynamite
It's
D
straight face.
today. That is such a unique combination of thoughts. I mean, was there this side of you that wanted to, be an actor or an artist, or
I was
connect with people like that?
Well. I knew very early in life that I connected with people easily. So I was in my high school drama club.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? So I was on stage a lot.
I see.
in high school.
I thought that was
in high school.
You see, I spotted that about you in our pre-production meeting. That's why I was asking you about being an artist.
Yeah.
And whether you sang or not.
No. No, I didn't sing, but I chaired. Or I was president of a social club of teenagers. You know, and just bringing all of our talents together. And showcasing our talents at different venues. I was more the talker and the creative artist in terms of words.
Fantastic. Well, when we come back, we're going to ask you about your master's degree and whether you had any special thesis or project that you had to do with that.
Okay.
We'll tackle that when we come right back.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Peter from Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching, and as you know, I do help people with drug and alcohol recovery issues. I love to help people get better, but I also offer a variety of other services, including regular life coaching services. I've helped several people write and finish a book. I've helped a doctor that was in medical school graduate and then get into a residency. And I also actually have quite a background in mathematics, and I do some math tutoring for the GED as well as the ASVAB for those that are thinking about a career in the military. So my contact information is on the screen. Please send me an email or a text, and we can talk about some of these services and how I can help. That's Peter Grigg at Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching. Welcome back to the Third Chair. I'm Peter. That's Doug. This is our special guest, Dee Walker. Dee, thanks for being here.
It is a delight to be here.
Well, you are too kind. You're one of the few people that have agreed to join us. When we left off, we talked that you had done a master's degree, and with that, did you have to write a thesis or do any kind of special project?
Yeah. I went to an evangelical university in Nairobi, Kenya.
Kenya.
So Africa International University, but then it was Nairobi Evangelical Graduate School of Theology.
Okay.
So I did a master's in Christian education, and I was heavily involved in youth work. Youth ministry, youth outreach. I had a dance team.
Wow.
Yes, and I would perform on stage. I had a music team. With some of my other colleagues from Kenya and other parts of Africa, we formed a very formidable youth committee. So because I had folks from Liberia, Uganda, Rwanda, we were all concerned about civil crisis, civil war. So my master's thesis was about the role of the youth, Christian youth, in reconciliation.
Wow.
In Liberia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. And of course, several countries in Africa have gotten a lot of attention for reconciling after horrible things. Probably Rwanda is the most famous.
Yeah.
After the genocide. So one question, because we're wrapping up the show, and that is, if people want to contact you, or if there's any special projects you'd like to tell us about, if you could share some contact information, and Mr. Producer will put it up on the air.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and so if you want to share an email or a website or an organization.
Yeah, this is exciting. Just over a month ago, I started focusing on helping young people who are homeless.
In
In
Colorado.
Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
So I work with a group called The Place.
The Place.
Yes, The Place. It's a safe place to be for anyone who is any young person, youth, age 15 to 24, who are faced with or experiencing homelessness. So you can go to www.theplacecos.org, theplacecos.org, and they can find information about what we do. We do outreach, we do shelter, and then housing for these young people who are experiencing excruciating homelessness.
So let's say I just happen to know a homeless youth that would fit your age group. What do I tell them to do? If they go to the website, is there a way that they can immediately talk to somebody or come in for an interview, or how does that work? How fast can things connect?
Well, we have criteria, and because we are recognized by the state, there are certain standards,
Yes.
So our caseworkers are the ones who are responsible for providing entry point for these young people that might come or that might have needs, So yeah. So our telephone number is 719-338-927. 338-9257.
Wow.
The Place.
What we on the screen here.
That's fantastic. And are you also working on any other overseas projects or anything like that right now?
Well, right now, because I've been involved with higher education, I'm writing a script on higher education in Liberia, challenges and opportunities.
When you say a script, is that like a movie script?
A book.
A book. A book. Okay, gotcha. Well, that sounds fantastic. Thanks for being here. He's Dee Walker has agreed to stay for another episode, so we will have him back next week. In the meantime, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell icon so you know when we've uploaded some new material. Please subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all next week.
This has been The Third Chair.